these big podcasts that are getting most of the watches out there are trying to one up each other with controversy.
Yep, that's right.
And they're being incentivized to bring on people that have misinformation because it's the most controversial. And if you go back into some of these guests that they have and you look and you're like, okay, this one's saying this, but this one's saying something different. This one's saying something completely different. And they're not based in any research or fact. It's just somebody's expert's opinion. And you're like, now it really does make sense why a lot of this information gets out there, because you've got 10 or 15 of the biggest podcasts in the world just spreading out information that is not necessarily 100% correct.
Yeah.
And they're incentivized to do that because they get more money, get more watches, anything more controversial. I mean, you and I have had a couple episodes where we talk about some controversial stuff, and those are the biggest hits.
Yeah,
they are.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, here's what I think. I think this is one of those things where it was inevitable, right? This is an inevitability that was going to happen. And what I mean by that is that, look, the model here is not new. This model is at its core, at its very core, is actually a good model that has been had since, well, let's go back to the Tonight Show, right? I mean, all the way back to sort of talk shows of the 50s, the 60s, into the 70s, 80s, 90s, et cetera, et cetera. The idea is you bring guests onto a show because that's why people tune into the show, is to see whoever you're going to have as a guest. And they say crazy stuff. They do fun things. They do entertaining things. And so, for the Tonight Show, or for Late Night with David Letterman, or for
Andy Kaufman, you think about, right?
They think about all those things. Their whole goal, their shtick, was to bring on celebrities so that they could promote, hey, tonight we're going to have Andy Kaufman on, or tonight we're going to have, John Wayne, or tonight we're going to have Elizabeth Taylor, or tonight we're going to have, Jerry Seinfeld, whoever it was, right? They're bringing on these guests who you're like, ooh, I love that guy, or I love that woman. Ooh, I love that person. I'm going to come and tune in for that. And so what ends up happening is as we start to democratize media, and there are more and more and more channels, and more and more competition, and more things, you can see the inevitability having to happen.